Aloha and good evening, everybody. My name is Cedric Duarte with the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. Welcome to tonight's conversation, a community information meeting regarding the Papakōlea sewer projects. Today is Thursday, November 18th. I'd like to say hello to the DHHL staff who are joining us this evening. We have Andrew Choi, our Acting Program Planning Manager. We have our Acting Administrator for the Land Development Division, Stuart Masunaga. And we have our planner for the island of Oahu, Perlene Fukuba, joining us, and as well as from our Land Development Division staff, Mitra Kawamura on the phone. We also have joining us from our Homestead Services Division, Administrator Juan Garcia. Thank you, DHHL staff, for joining us. And I also want to welcome Nicole Nakaoka from RM Tall Corporation. You'll be hearing from her later in the presentation, as she'll be walking us through the different items of tonight's information. So I'm going to go ahead and share our screen, and I'm going to let a couple of people into the meeting here so that they don't miss out. Okay. Just a little bit on meeting Kuleana. For those of you who have participated in the department's beneficiary consultation meetings, this screen will look very familiar to you. As we have these meetings with the community, we all have a little bit of responsibility. We ask that you be respectful of the person who is talking and try not to interrupt, allow them to go ahead and finish making their point. Please wait for the facilitator to call on you or type your question into the chat box. One of the unintended positive outcomes of the pandemic is we've all gotten to know how to use virtual meeting platforms a little bit better, and we'll be utilizing the chat box throughout the conversation as we respond to your questions. When addressing others, whether verbally or in the chat box, we just ask that everybody be respectful, show aloha, and treat others how you would like to be treated. And throughout the presentation, and throughout all of our conversations, there are going to be times where we'd agree to disagree. And we hope that everyone accepts that others may have different perspectives and opinions. And the main thing is we treat each other with aloha, because later on, maybe we can agree on something else. And we ask tonight that you have an open mind, and we hope that you take home some new ideas. And I hope that we can provide you some new information. I know a lot of you have heard some of the information we're going to be presenting tonight. We're going to quickly go over it so that we can save time at the end of the conversation for some questions and answers so that we can really dive into that. Okay, let's see. Purpose of tonight's meeting is really to update the Papakōlea homestead community on our overall DHHL sewer improvement project. We talked a little bit about this in July at the community meeting that included our neighbors in Kewalo and Kalawahine, but it was clear that during that conversation, we needed to take a little deeper dive into the Papakōlea sewer project and really set aside specific time to talk about the impacts of this project and why are we doing this? And we're doing this in order to upgrade improve the sewer system so that it can comply with city and county standards, and ultimately have the city and county, oversee and maintain the system and allow DHHL to serve other beneficiaries that throughout the state that we want to work with. Okay. Here's just a little slide about how we've broken up the project into two different phases. Phase one, the department has put in around $13 million over the course of nearly 3 years to address some of the sewer improvements. And you see that here on the screen. And Stuart will kind of give us a little deeper rundown on that. And then the phase two project is which we'll largely talk about this evening. And that's going to be estimated around 45 million, depending on which directions we go. And Nicole's going to be on to walk us through those pieces. And I think that's where we're going to have a lot of opportunity for questions and answers here tonight. Okay, so just talk a little bit about the phase one project. I'd like to ask Stuart Masunaga from the Land Development Division to talk a little bit about this. So Stuart, if you wouldn't mind unmuting and speaking to the slides here. And then if you're able to just let me know when to go next slide and I'll advance it for you.
Okay, mahalo Cedric, and aloha to everyone from Papakōlea. I want to give a little bit of context to sewer improvements. And so since 1994, the city stopped accepting DHHL sewer lines. I know Papakōlea has been sewered for decades, but in our newer subdivisions in Waimanalo, Kapolei, as well as on the leeward side in Nanakuli and Waianae, they stopped maintaining DHHL sewer lines. And while lessees continue to pay for the services through the water bill. In 2014, the legislature enacted Act 227, which clarified the responsibilities of sewer maintenance, and that was clearly with the city and county of Honolulu. And so there is a process that we are going through in subdivisions statewide. And basically what we need to do is to bring sewer systems into current city and county standards. And then we provide a license easement for the city to traverse over and within subdivisions, DHHL subdivisions, to do the maintenance. We also provide the city with a bill of sale. So basically, once the system is brought to city standards, meets their approval, is inspected, then we provide the license easement to the city as well as the bill of sale. So from that point forward, the city is totally responsible. So right now, lessee is having issues with sewage backup and things like this, then many of you know that it gets referred to DHHL, and that's really not right. So we're going to make it right and correct that situation. And so that's going forward. I think we have like sewer flushing and camera work going on in Waimanalo at the Kumuhao subdivision and the Kakaina subdivision. So these are going to be turned over to the city. We turned over one system in Waianae at the Kaupuni Village subdivision. So we're really excited about going forward with this and really putting the Kuleana back to where it's supposed to be. So I appreciate your just being able to share that with you. And so let me go forward with the slides. These slides have been presented at different community meetings over the last couple of years. And so this slide, and I think Cedric, we're gonna have this on the website, yeah?
Yes,
So
correct.
if community wants to go back and take a deeper dive into these areas, then by all means, please go to the website and look at these slides for more detail. And so this is overall sewer improvements. A lot of times what is tied to sewer improvements would be improvements to the slope along Awaiolimu and drainage ditch rehab, because as you know, this sloping area is just full of these types of issues. And so I think we'll go to the next slide, and not to belabor all the prior work, but this one is sewer line ENF, impact 65 lots, 4,200 linear feet. And there are a number of new sewer manholes. Many of these, because how the system was built, are running within and through the homestead lots. So there will be a lot of disruption. I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat it, but the contractors are gonna try to work as much as possible with the adjoining homeowners as they have done here. But this is all to improve the system, bring it to city standards, and to provide the community with a reliable sewer system that they can connect into. And you pay sewer fees, and so you should get the best. Okay. Let's see, sewer line E is the next. And so, there's been some rerouting and realigning of sewer lines. And I know that sometimes creates problems, but without these improvements, and it affects everything upstream. So we have to do this. there's no, really other means. Next slide. Again, another sewer line L, which is actually in Kevalo. And so, we're still experiencing problems because the city system, which is just below line L, is a choke point. It's too small, but the good news is that the city has started to make improvements to that or design it, and then to enlarge the transmission lines beyond the manhole that is right in Awayulimu, just below Kapahu Street. Okay, next. Slope C and C1 replacement. So yeah, the slope was improved. We have a periodic maintenance program, and so we hope to continue to keep this area safe. And that was the main thing with this. So I believe that there's rock mesh on this, and we have a great repair maintenance team of 2 people that handles the entire state. And so, Kalamai, if sometimes there's delays in responding to, complaint calls or trees and so on and so forth. But we do have a great crew. They have contracts and they're very responsive as much as they can with the 2 staff that we have. And so that's just the reality. So I think this is the last slide in phase 1. And again, you can go to the website to download these slides or to look at them more closely. And with that, I think that's the last slide for phase 1. And I'll pass it back to Cedric. Appreciate everyone's attention on this, and mahalo for spending time with us.
Thank you, Stuart, for giving us that quick update. I just wanted to make sure that as part of this conversation that, this the project has been ongoing for a little while. And so now we're headed into sort of phase 2. And this is the time where I'd like to hand the next few slides off to Nicole Nakooka from RM Towel. So Nicole, if you could sort of take us through the phase 2 slides, I appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm the project engineer for the phase 2 portion of the Papakōlea Sewer Improvement Project. So tonight, Stuart explained much of it, and it sounds like many of you already know and have a background about the sewer improvement project. So I'll try and keep it to the minimal amount of information. So the objective of phase 2 is to, again, replace the existing aging sewer system to minimize and reduce the number of sewer spills in the Papakōlea subdivision. Like Stuart mentioned, we're going to transfer these phase 2 sewer lines to the city and county of Honolulu eventually. And phase 2 picks up from phase 1 and continues to improve the sewer system. Next slide, please. This is a figure of the phase 2 portion of the sewer improvements project. The phase 2 will be split into 2 separate projects, 2A and 2B. Phase 2A is shown on this figure as the yellow highlights, and phase 2B is represented by the purple highlights. Both phases will be include replacing existing gravity sewer lines via pipe bursting and open trenching. I'll be explaining what pipe bursting is in the upcoming slides. Currently, we have already submitted plans to the city for their review, and we are addressing their comments right now. Phase 2B is different from phase 2A in that it involves the replacement of gravity sewer lines, as well as the installation of low pressure sewer systems for certain lots. Let's see, going back to the figure, phase 2A also includes the abandoning of a few pipes, which is represented by the dashed green lines, and spot repairs, which are represented by the green circles. The spot repairs are short segments, typically 10 feet or so in length, so they don't require as much, I guess, disruption to the surrounding areas. Okay, next slide, please. So this is what this figure shows what pipe bursting looks like. Static pipe bursting is when a bursting head is pulled through an existing pipe and installs the new pipe at the same time. So this is really a good method of installation for the Papakōlea subdivision because it reduces the amount of ground disturbances and minimizes having to dig up around existing utilities. And we understand that that access to the existing sewer lines can be a major issue in some areas of the subdivision. So this is a good construction method that is not often used, but we think it'll work well in Papakōlea. Next slide. So the low pressure sewer system, which I mentioned, will be, we suggest it for the phase 2B portion of the improvement project. A low pressure sewer system is an alternative to the typical gravity sewer collection system. And it involves installing a grinder pump on individual lots that will serve like a single home, and it'll pump the sewage from the house to the roadway sewer. This is suggested for areas where we have elevation changes, where we're unable to connect directly to the city or to the roadway sewer collection system. So you can see in red, we have the property line between the road right-of-way and the lot, the homeowner side. So the grinder pump will be adjacent to the house. Next slide, please. For the phase 2A portion, it will involve replacing the gravity sewer lines. We estimate about 3,400 feet of gravity sewer lines. See, again, you can see the abandoned pipe in red. These pipes are going to be abandoned since the sewer lines were already replaced or should be replaced in phase 1. So that will just entail applying CLS and fill within the lines. Next slide, please. So this slide shows some typical impacts that phase 2A will have on the subdivision. As you know, there are lots of trees and shrubs and structures, residential structures that may be impacted due to the installation of the sewer lines, which run between houses and against retaining walls. We'll have to demolish and reconstruct these walls, fences, driveways, and sidewalks. And including the majority of the walkway and staircase between Owailinu Street and Yokia Street, which is pictured here. The sewer line runs very, very close to the staircase and AC walkway. So we'll have to replace this pretty much in its entirety. And we understand that this is heavily used, especially during the school year, as a walkway between houses and schools. So we'll try, I think we'll suggest that construction take place during the summer or during an off period of time. Next slide, please. To continue with the impacts to the subdivision. So here on the left, photo 1, we show the existing drainage channel which is considered historic by the Preservation Division. This is at Tandelus Drive and Morea Street. The existing sewer line will have to cross this ditch, and we will have to close a portion of the sidewalk as well in this area. Photo 2 shows the existing sewer line, which runs very close to a large mango tree, and we may have to remove that and a portion of the retaining wall that is also pictured there. Next slide, please.
Sorry.
Okay. Moving on to phase 2B. So phase 2B is going to be divided, I guess that's, sorry, can you try click one more? I think there's a animation. Oh, there we go. So phase 2B is divided into east of Tandelus Drive and west of Tandelus Drive for ease of discussion purposes. So the green highlighted area, which is the area that is west of Tandelus, there are two alternatives for sewering that portion of the subdivision, which I will be discussing in some previous or in upcoming slides. The red highlighted, oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, no. The phase 2B will include replacement of gravity sewer lines, as well as installing low pressure sewer systems. So the low pressure sewer systems east of Tandelus Drive are shown in the red highlight that are shown on the screen, as well as and LPSS will also be suggested for the portions of the areas west of Tandelus Drive that are highlighted in green. Okay, next slide. So for phase 2B, the area west of Tandelus Drive, we are trying to keep the sewer flow path the same. So we're sending the sewer from the houses to the same city sewage system. This work will also include abandoning 2,500 linear feet of sewer line due to the accessibility and safety concerns that we have for this area. As you already know, this area is very, it's built along a cliffside, so that's why we are suggesting LPSS systems, which is shown in red again, for these lots. And the estimated cost is $7.3 million. Next slide. For this alternative, alternative two of phase 2B, we will have to connect the existing sewer system with, we'll have to connect the Papakōlea system to the existing city sewer system in Awaialimu Street. So the flow direction is shown by the yellow arrows in this figure. We'll have to abandon the sewer line that goes around the cliffside because we're unable to connect to it. I didn't mention it in phase 2A, but we'll also, or in the alternative 1, but we'll also have to do that in alternative 1. And due to the connection in Awaialimu, we may need to upgrade the sewer system downstream. And this estimated cost is $9.5 million. Next slide. So continuing from the previous slide, this alternate 2 will include the construction of 21 LPSS systems for these homes that are shown in red again. We will have to abandon and fill a portion of the sewer system that is shown in red. And the estimated cost is 9.5 million for alternative 2, which includes the portion within Awailing Street. Next slide, please. So for phase 2B, these are some of the typical impacts that the project will have on the subdivision. The LPSS units will require close coordination with each homeowner, since the grinder pump will have to be situated in a specific location in order to connect to the roadway sewer lines. Homeowners will be responsible for the management of the pump station and laterals within the property. I know this was something that also needs to be further discussed. This figure on the left shows the existing sewer line, which runs from Hiilani Street through between 2 residential properties. So you can see that it's really close to a wall on the left and to a house on the right. So we'll really need to, we will make sure that each homeowner, will coordinate the construction with each homeowner. The figure on the right shows the existing sewer system, which is in Awailimu Street, downstream of the Papakōlea subdivision. And like Stuart mentioned, we'll have to coordinate with the city for their future city upgrades. Next slide. Continuing on from the impacts, if there is work being done near a historic structure, such as the Awailimu Ditch, SHPD will need to be involved, the State Historic Preservation Division, so we will have to work closely with them. And Awailimu Street in general is a very sensitive area due to that ditch, and it will require a lot of coordination with the city. Okay, next slide, please. As you already know, there are a lot of challenges to working within the Papakōlea sewer, or within the Papakōlea subdivision. Some construction challenges that we have are accessibility regarding existing obstacles such as homes and garages, large trees and retaining walls that may be on or near existing sewer lines, safety for in the construction of the new sewer lines, because many homes are typically located at the top or edge of the steep slope. We'll also have coordination challenges because we understand that we'll have to work closely with the homeowners regarding accessing individual properties and clearing easements of existing obstacles. And we will also have to work closely with SHPD for both phase 2B and for phase 2, the alternative 2, due to the proximity of the historic ditch and Awailing Street. Okay, and I think that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you very much. I know that was a lot of information, everybody, but I appreciate everyone for sitting through this slideshow presentation. I'm going to leave the slides up just in case we have to go back to them, but we're at the point of the meeting now where we have an opportunity to answer any questions that the community may have. There's about a dozen or so of you on the line. So if you are interested in putting any questions into the chat, we can put questions into the chat, or if someone wants to raise their hand to ask a question, we can raise hand. We'll start with those two options first. And then if we don't see any of that, then we just go ahead and unmute and have a more open conversation. So at this time, are there any questions in the chat, or does anyone want to raise hand and ask any questions at this time? Doesn't. Oh, there we go. Antipuni. Aloha, Antipuni.
Aloha. Okay. So the slide with the go back. Okay, the slide that takes out the old lines on the Paoa side of Tandelus between Hi'ilani and the park.
This one.
No, the one I think is the one after. Yeah, you see that red box?
Yes.
What's that red box? We're trying to figure out what's that red box mean? All these red boxes.
These here.
Yeah.
Okay. These are what Nicole was describing as a low pressure system. Is that correct, Nicole?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the low pressure systems, and that was demonstrated or talked about in this slide. This is the LPSS system.
So they have to get the tank, that push out tank, all those red box homes. Is that correct? They need
Yes.
to get these. What about Papakōlea Community Park? Where is the park in all of this?
Let's see.
What goes? Looks like the park, because the park is on Tandelus and between Kraus and Kauhane.
That's Kavohi's house.
So only Kavohi's house.
Nicole,
It
you might have
looked
to
like
help me
it.
out which slides to go to, okay?
The alternate one, sorry.
This one.
No, the red blocks,
I
CJ.
think back to, back.
Back
Yeah.
to this one. This one.
Yeah.
Let's
No, the
see.
other one with the Hi'ilani streets.
This one.
Phase 2A, or sorry, 2B.
2B.
Yes.
Okay, 2B. This one.
Or maybe, was it next ones?
Kilani Street.
This
That's
one,
this
right?
one.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
That
this
one.
the one. Okay.
So SLC4, that's Kavohi's house. That's Akana's. What is that yellow arrow next to the park that's pointing toward SLC4? Is
This one right there.
on the top, up above. Yeah, over there.
This
Oh,
this one right
okay.
here.
The yellow arrows just indicate the direction of sewer flow.
So the blue-green lines mean that everybody on the right-hand side of Cross Street would have to get the pump, right? The gravity sewer line. So you know, I just gonna let you guys know, all those guys on that side of Tandelus are the original homestead lessees. Yeah, so those guys have no sidewalks, yeah. But they're the first 69. So I am assuming because those lines would be the most oldest, that's why this is gonna happen. But all of them, it looks like, pretty much, are gonna have to have this gravity sewer line. Just giving you a heads up. Whoa. Makes sense to me in a way, but yeah, that's a lot of people. Original homes in Papakōlea, original, let's see, just FYI, CJ. All those guys on the left of Tandelus, that's the very first original 69 families that got homestead. So yeah.
And so this red line, if
Yeah,
I'm
that
correct,
red line,
Nicole,
right on the top
this is
left.
that's the red line is the old sewer line that we're going to be abandoning. Is that correct, Nicole?
Right.
Yes.
So the Ilani, the Aokea, everybody that's shaded in red, that whole red block is original lessees.
Okay.
That's original families. Just to let you know, they're gonna give you flack. You can get, yeah, this is gonna be interesting, CJ. So what about the park? Because the park is not shaded at all. What happens there?
The park is able to just directly connect to the gravity sewer system, so we don't think it requires the LPSS.
Because the line for the park is toward Tandelus, right?
Yes, I believe,
Okay.
or sewer line C3.
Interesting, because Mrs. Kahuaka's house is not red. That's interesting. The house right next to the open court.
But I think the assumption is Oliver and Company, that's my mom, that the red line is dead, Ma. So what they're saying is the blue line can push all the level toward Tantalus because they
Right.
downhill, right?
Right. Yeah, I got that.
But I think, Cedric, the question that we had, I think the last community meeting when we had some of the uncles in space is whose kuleana is that is to maintain these systems because they're on private property now. And one of the uncles was a plumber, and he had said sometimes those systems aren't guarantees. But at that point, I don't think the department had an answer about who pays to fix and maintain these systems. So I just wanted to follow up on that model.
Right. This is the picture of the low pressure sewer system, yeah, because it does take some electricity and it will need some maintenance. I don't think that we have at this time, because we're still in we're at this phase. I don't think we've determined whose kuleana is going to be as far as maintenance of this system moving forward. Stuart, correct me if I'm wrong on that.
That is correct. So we know that is an issue regarding the cost of the installation, and not only that, but the cost of the long-term maintenance, the electrical costs. We don't think the electricity cost is a lot, but we still concerned about that because we know these are original lessees, kupuna, fixed income, all of that. So we have to, put our noggins together and try to look at that and try to assess what that is. We also have to continue our efforts with the state legislature because we do not have all of this funding to do all of phase 2. So it may be that we have to break it up into increments subject to how much funding we have. And so I think we all need to continue to go to the legislature to support funding for this. And, I think we should approach this issue too in terms of what costs are being provided in the capital improvements program. So I think, Nicole, we should take a look at the numbers and try to come up with what that order of magnitude is for the hardware, as well as what is expected to be maintenance costs, electrical costs. And, I think we should give it a shot and see if the legislature would, provide that funding. There's no guarantee, but I think in Tipuni together we can talk to the ledge and to share with them the mana'o and what this is, what kind of impacts you're going to have here. So, I mean, we have similar situations in many other locations around the state. We have areas where they're low-lying in Molokai, Kalamaula, Papakōlea, and we're going to have the same issue there because there is just not the correct elevation where everything can gravity flow. So I think you bring up a great question and opportunity for us to continue to work with the legislature on this matter.
And it's also important too, I think, Stuart, on our side too, we have to continue to work with your team and Nicole to refine this presentation so that it is digestible and our legislators can understand the current state of affairs with regard to the sewage systems throughout the Papakōlea subdivision, so that they kind of know where we're at. And this is the magnitude of the situation in order to fix it and to mitigate it more moving forward, not just for the initial fix, but the ongoing repair and maintenance in the future years, so that future DHHS staff and future beneficiaries are provided for with this potential solution. Antipuni, does that answer your question right now? I wanted to kind of keep the conversation open. Are there any other folks on the Zoom call right now that may have a question that they'd like to ask or a comment that they'd like to share? I think we could just go ahead and unmute and just say hello and go ahead and ask your question if you want to chime into the conversation right now. Antipuni went
Hello,
down.
everyone.
Aloha.
So I had a question about the stairs going from Iokia to Awelimu. Yeah, that's the one. I understand aiming for summer to get the work done, but has DHHL considered any alternative route for our babies? Because yes, it's major during the school year, but even during the summer, our keiki still go down to Stevenson and they go, use the basketball courts and things. So has DHHL looked at any other route? Because our babies sometimes take Ho'okui, but that road is so dangerous. I would just wanted to ask when it came to the stairs. Mahalo.
I think we can take that back under consideration. I don't think that we're quite there yet, but that's good feedback to know that even in the non-school time, the stairways get traffic. And as we proceed closer, what we can do is try to identify exactly what the time frame looks like and how long it's going to take to do that work, and see what options or opportunities we can have for the community while this gets done, because it's definitely a significant portion of the project that needs to be improved. So we're gonna have to do it. I think the goal is gonna be how to minimize the impact of the project as we get it done. But thank you for that that context. I think that's important for us to know as we proceed forward. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I'm looking at the certified mail that was sent to me a few months ago. And it shows you folks having to come right through my backyard, which isn't very big at this point. And you guys were wanting us to make way for the construction equipment to come through. What kind of construction equipment are they bringing in? Because I have my garage right down my driveway where I have all my stuff, my tools and cars, and around the side of my house, there's no way that they can bring big equipment through there. And they're going to, according to this mail, the swale or whatever it's called, the concrete swale to be constructed is going to be right out my back door on my property. So how much of the back property are they going to take up for construction? And how are they going to bring the equipment in? There's the lot next to me, 605 address, I'm 611, which is empty. That would be might be accessible, but I can't see knocking down my garage or the side of my house for them to bring equipment in. And who's going to pay for that? You guys? Or I mean, I'm right now I'm handicapped. Okay, I got two bad knees, so there's no way I don't have the money to hire anybody to do anything.
Mr. Spencer, on the certified mail, does it have a subject line on it?
You mean the picture or
just on the letter? Does it have like a subject line of the letter? like regarding something or subject something, or
Yeah, notice of future construction.
that's all. Just
Kap-
notice of future.
Kapahu Street, Slope Mitigation Project Street, Papakōlea, Island of
Okay.
Oahu. And
Okay.
it has my lot number.
Got it. Okay, Mr. Spencer, do you have something to write down a number with? I'm going to give you my phone number.
Okay,
I'd like you to give me a call tomorrow because that particular project, the Kapahu Street Slope Mitigation Project, is different from the sewer improvement project. We actually held a meeting on that. My meetings are kind of getting all blurred together. I think that might have been 2 months ago, but I'm not exactly sure. But
well, I got the
do want.
mail like 2 months ago.
Yeah, I want to make sure that we go through your particular lot situation in depth. So if I could
Okay.
give you my number,
Sure.
my number is 620 95 91.
91. Okay.
And if you could
Thank
give me a call, tomorrow, I'd love to speak with you about this. And I'd like to go through your concerns one at a time, if that's okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Mahalo. Thank you for bringing that up. Just for context for everyone, the department is doing a lot of different projects than Papakōlea, which is why I asked about what the subject line was, because we
Mhm.
do have a Kapahu Street, we have a slope mitigation project over there, and then there are a handful of very specific homesteads throughout Papakōlea that we are doing rock fall mitigation for as well. And that kind of was all piled into the July meeting. So we tried to break out and have conversations with different parts of the community. We had a Kalawahine meeting a little while back where we heard a lot from the community, and we have a lot of work for that subdivision over there. And for this meeting, we want to talk specifically about the sewer. So thank you, Mr. Spencer. We'll speak tomorrow. But
Okay.
at this time, does anyone else have any questions either regarding the work in phase 2A, 2B, the grinder pump, any other questions that we might be able to speak to or address at this time?
Aloha, this is Adrian. I work at the park, and I just have a question because when you're talking about the electrical part of this, there are families in Papakōlea that are living off a generator. And so how would that work? They're not on the electrical system at all. They have been running generators for like years. One in particular is like, I think, blacklisted by Hawaiian Electric. So would that be impacting sewage for that home as well as the surrounding neighbors? So as you look at cost, you got something sitting right at the middle in one of your areas. They don't have electricity at the house at all. And it's been like that at least a decade. So, and it may be more than one in that surrounding area, but we know of one that has been that way because we get the complaints about the generator noise. So that is concerning. So not even what it costs them to pay, they just don't have electricity on their property.
Okay. That's good to know. I think that's good additional information that the department needs to hear. And if there's any way that as this project conversation continues to go forward, and to Stuart's earlier point about our conversations with legislators about addressing the needs and concerns of beneficiaries in this community, I think it's going to be really important. And I'm not sure how we get this information, but it's going to be really important for DHHL to know exactly how many families, and eventually we may need to know exactly who the families are that we may be able to include their particular needs in potential future requests. But I think that's important for us to know that there are families that are having this type of struggle.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so
Sir,
I
Jerry?
have not know. Yes, please.
Yeah, can I just add that I think this is a really critical health and safety kind of issue, and I think we need to look at that like immediately. And so maybe if we can get the information and with Homestead Services help to kind of look at this situation to understand what is happening here, and if it is a infrastructure issue or if it is some other issue, because it is really not safe to live off a generator. You know, in times of storms or these, you know, outages. Yeah, maybe, but I'm really concerned for this family as well as the surrounding homes within, you know, in this area. So if we can get that information, you know, we'll work with Juan Garcia and his staff in Homestead Services Division.
So I'm going to put my contact information here in the chat for anyone who would like to take it down. And please feel free to have family reach out directly. You know, I'm not really sure that, you know, what the department can do, but I think that it's important as we do projects like this for us to have a clear understanding of what the potential impacts for the community are. Auntie Puni, I see you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
Okay, so one of the spot repairs is on my property. At the end of Aniani Ku, the second red dot, the second green dot on the lower right. Exactly what will be done?
We're here.
Yeah, that's my property. So that
Okay.
manhole is the bottom of my property. So exactly what kind of work? When you talk about spot repair, are they replacing that manhole or what is spot repair?
Okay, thank you for the question. Nicole, would you be able to tackle that one for us?
Yes. So I believe that spot repair, they're all, I guess, portions of the pipe might be compromised. So we're just going to replace a segment of the pipe. I don't believe in that area we're replacing the manhole. I think we might just be replacing a portion, like a 10-foot segment of sewer line. I need to check my plans for more specifically what the work is. But does that generally answer your question?
Well, I only ask because a good portion of the sewer line on my property that's going to that manhole is exposed.
Oh,
And we're planning to build a new home. So if I need to wait to get this work done, then I need to know ahead of time. Because, I mean, I have major pipe that's above the ground that goes to that manhole from my house. So we know that it needs to be replaced. So can I work with you guys to find out whether it will be replaced when this spot repair is done? Because
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, well, let's do this first, Auntie Puni. Maybe tomorrow if you have time, just you could take a couple pictures and email it to me.
Yep.
And then I'll get include in there your address. I'll get it over to Nicole, and we can at least respond back to you as to what the potential work's gonna look like. Because to Stuart's earlier point, this project not funded yet, and we don't know when gonna get funded. So
yeah, we gotta walk the balls. That's story.
Yeah,
That's right.
So,
You know, we have it in our sufficient sums budget request, but you know, our sufficient sums budget request was like 250, 300 million. And so, you know we're not going to get that, but we got to go push and try.
Yeah. Okay.
but at least if we can come back to you, so you know what the work potentially could look like, I think that would be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, not helping is Sylvia leaving this year, but gotta do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why you got to go now.
No. Push.
Kaapuni, I see you have your hand up.
Hello, since she's talking about our house, can we go to the 2A slide for homes below Tandelus Drive toward Kevalo? I'm trying to see if we're online for those LPSSs. Okay, wait, where we stay? Oh,
Hold on,
wait,
hold on.
yeah,
Let me-
you
let me-
just had a.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Wait. So I can start over. Hold on. Let's see. Not this one. This one.
That one. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wait, where we stay? Mom, where's our house? I'm trying to figure out who's that last red house on SLK2. Who is that?
This is Anianiku going up this way.
Mhm. Okay, no,
What is
that's
this?
not us. I think
Is
that's
this-
I
is
think that's the Salis is in red. Okay. I was just wondering, so she was talking about our yard. I said, I better check if we're in the red. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so
Just checking.
no problem. So I will to what Stuart had mentioned earlier, a copy of the video of this meeting will be available on the website where you got the Zoom information to dial in, and a PDF of the presentation will be available, so you can zoom in and take a look. And there is contact information there as well. So if there are very specific questions, you can reach out to us so that we can try to respond. Uncle Paul, I see that you have your hand up. You go ahead and unmute and.
Thank you very much. This is a
Yep.
question for Stuart. Yeah, Stuart, when you were at phase one map, you kind of threw in a bunch of lines that I never heard of or never saw of at the very beginning. I saw line E, line M, and line L. But my question really has to do with that main line that they put in for Kalawahine. I was under the understanding that when they built this project, the line that comes down from Punch Bowl, as you say that everything flows downhill, the line that comes down from Punch Bowl today currently runs behind the park, Mauka Park of Kalawahine, and along the Mauka stream. And I know that the city and county, they do a very good job in clearing that line. But I was always under the understanding that they were going to hook up to the new line that we have here at Kalawahine to help alleviate all that stuff that goes down your side. And so my question is, we're talking about abandoned lines and things of that nature. And I was always under the understanding that the line behind along Kalawahine stream side was going to eventually be abandoned to hook up to the Kalawahine line that's down Kapahu Street. Comment, please.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know that answer. We also have Mitchell Kawamura, who was the project manager for
Right.
phase one in the for DHHL, and that section was also designed by RM Towell. I don't know if Nicole would be able to respond on that.
Yeah, because I just don't know how far that line, existing line today, Stuart, actually runs down towards Anianiku and Kapahu, excuse me. Yeah, and Kapahu, if you will.
Okay, so I think on this slide, and sorry, I have to kind of minimize my, I'm just working off of a phone, so I can't, my Maka is not so good, so that sewer line E in red that's a new line. And then on Kapahu Street, there was a sewer line on the stream side of those lots, but that was moved to Anianiku to connect to Awaiolimo.
And so my question then, Stuart, is that line is still an active line, and I'm not sure where it's going down along Kapahu Stream. That's all. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. We do know that the city has started to plan, design, construct a new transmission line. And this is where you see the three lines meeting up at Awaiolimo. And that's really a choke point. So we have, I think, a 10-inch and an 8-inch line going into that manhole. And it coming out of the manhole is only, and I stand corrected, I think it's like an 8-inch or maybe a 10-inch line. So you got a 10 and an 8 going in into the manhole and a 10-inch going out. I mean, I'm okay on my math, but it doesn't seem to work out that all of the flows, in a, let's say, a storm situation,
Sure,
can discharge that sewer. So sometimes there is a backup at that point.
and the only reason why I bring that up is that that's an active line that's coming from Tandelus into our homestead. That's all.
Yes, so that's why we want to do everything we can to get it back to the city so that the city is fully responsible for the maintenance.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions coming in from those on the call at this time? We're at about 7:30, so I think we still have time to take a few more questions if there are any at this time. Go ahead and just unmute and toss it out there if there's any questions from those on the meeting.
Aloha. Sorry.
Go
So
ahead.
I just wanted to comment. I understand we're still planning the pipe bursting idea, the slide. Is that in the 2A or was that kind of already done as Uncle Paul was talking about abandoned lines? This is for 2A?
For
Just to-
2A.
Okay. Okay. I wanted to comment, like I understand, but I just wanted to share that I kind of have some concern about breaking LEPO pipes in our ground and then just leaving it there. I'm sure you folks are trying to figure out other ways to do it, and I understand the land that we have. Yeah, but if we can figure out another way, I'm not too fan. Like, I'm not a fan of that idea.
Okay. So I just want to make sure I'm hearing this right. So you'd like us to see if there are other options as opposed to utilizing the this option that funnels a pipe inside of an existing pipe and potentially damaging and leaving the old pipe in place. Yeah.
Yeah, and just breaking and leaving LEPO pipe in our ground.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So was any of this done to the phase 1 changes that was made? Did you guys burst pipe between Iaukia and Tandelus and Ka'ulula'au? Was that how the pipes were replaced?
That one, I don't know. Nicole, would you know on that one?
I don't think it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Just
think this
wondering.
is a solution for the future phases.
Yes, so one of the reasons why, in addition to like minimizing ground disturbance, we're upsizing the pipes from 6 inches to 8 inches. So it's going to be 2 inches larger than what's currently in the ground. So there are other methods of trenchless installation, but we've thought this was the best since it's able to use the same alignments as the existing sewer lines, and we don't have to like dig up and create another trench to install the larger pipe.
Using this method, will it require the Department of Hawaiian Homelands to acquire environmental approval or environmental reviews to do this type of work?
I think you're asking about pipe bursting specifically.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm not aware of any additional environmental requirements.
Okay.
Just maybe a suggestion, maybe we can look at other areas on Oahu that have gone through pipe bursting and just look at what the results were and what the long-term impact might have been. Maybe if we can research that and bring that back.
Okay, thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we can also talk about is sort of the difference between what this solution may bring and what trenching a new pipe and what that impact to the community would be as well, so that we're clear on what the two impacts are.
Yeah, got it.
Thank you, Auntie Puni. Okay, we'll go ahead and do a last call for anyone who has any more questions, concerns, or comments at this time. Okay, hearing none. Let's see, we're gonna stop the share here. I just want to thank everybody for participating in tonight's meeting. As I had mentioned earlier, a recording of the meeting will be posted to the department's website where you got the Zoom information to dial into this evening's meeting. A copy of a copy of the presentation, a copy of the video will both be there. I have put my phone number and email into the chat. So if anyone thinks of a question or concern later that they'd want to send over to us, please do so. And I just thank all of you for taking time out on a Thursday evening to spend a little time with us and talk about the fabulous subject of sewer improvements. Very, very grateful to have all of you with us for that.